somebody go, I'll tip you through the app. And that always meant I'm not getting a tip, period. So I developed this thing that I've told a few people who still use it to this day. But it's not as common that people are doing that. But I mean, because everybody knows about it now. But I mean, this is when it was first coming on. And they're like, I can tip you through the app, right? And I'm like, hey, yeah, before you leave, can you show me how you do that? Because I have people ask me all the time and I don't know how to do it. So could you show me? Yeah. And they're kind of like, yeah. And so I know they could get out of I knew they could get out of the car and remove it. Yeah. But I also knew, like, dude, we had that interaction that a server or a bartender and a customer has. Like, my face now. Like, now I was smiling at you. I was like happy. I took you where you needed to go safely. And we had that interaction. You put a tip in. For you to pull it out makes you worse than a tip maker.
Yeah.
That would make you just a human trash.
Yeah.
So
I think the problem that's happening now, it's gotten so prevalent in the industry, is that, a lot of these guys I've spoken with, even girls, they're just like, if the order is not big enough, I'll take it. If the order is like under $10, pass. Mm-hmm. And then it's kind of funny because a lot of these apps realize why, this is happening, but they're not doing anything about it. So when I speak to a lot of these drivers, I'm like, listen, call your elected rep saying, listen, I want a rule or a regulation or a law in place that prevents this. And a lot of it falls on deaf ears. A lot of folks are just like,
it does. And I was going to say, I kind of get it. Like, if you told me, call your elected rep, I've now for years been dealing with elected reps. Yeah. No problem. Tomorrow I'd be on the phone. I'd have to look up some things, and I might want to make more than one call even. And I kind of know how all that works. But when you say it to people who have never done it, it's just another thing in life that they've done before. And they're just like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, give me a box to check right here that I'm in with you and I'm down with what Rudy's saying, and I'll do it. But if you're going to make me call somebody and talk, and they're like, I'm done. And it sucks because it's a huge cause. And again, guys, everybody listening should realize that the other side calls. And when 10 of the other side calls that wants to be unionized or whatever they want at the moment, and then none of us call who all want something better, they actually start to think that that's what's wanted, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the assistant or the secretary to a senator or a House member would like say, hey, we got 10 things about they want to be unionized. And how many did we get against it? 0. Like, they don't scale it. They just say these 10 are actually taking the time to write in. It is a problem. This is why a lot of bad legislation passes, because the activists who really want things, even if they're not in our space, they want to tell us how we're going to work. There are people who don't even work in our space and fight for how we will be labeled.
That's another subject that's kind of crazy, because there's a bunch of laws out there that don't make sense, and there's a bunch of laws that, like the Colorado law that just came out, incredible piece of legislation. I love it. I'm for it. But it still needs a little tweaking here and there. But other than that, it's a beautiful piece of legislation.
See, you also, I don't know if you're familiar, but in January 1st, the DNC transparency law went in effect. Is it perfect? No. Is it a hell of a lot better? Yeah. And then the TNC on February 1st, which Uber was trying to pull a bunch of games with that one too, where it has to be full transparency. We're not like California or Seattle or New York asking for 120% of minimum wage on the active time we work while on a platform, because that just allows the platforms even more control to just not let us work as much. So it doesn't matter. Like, if you get into a dollar amount, you're fighting for the wrong things in your state. We fought for just transparency. And the other thing that we fought for was a right to a human review of any deactivation. And we got it.
Yeah.
So if you get deactivated and you get that email, you've been deactivated, you call and you get no answer about it, or you get somebody that does call you back and says, oh, you did this, or even if they do, or they let you back on 3 months later, that's not the case here anymore anyway, or it shouldn't be. I don't know anybody that's had to go through the process. It's only been in place a couple of months, but if you get deactivated and you think I did not do anything, you can challenge it and you get a human review of 7 people.
Yeah.
So
Um,
it completely removes it from the algorithm. The 7 people have the final say.
yeah, that's something that we need to put in place in every
And
state in the United
and
States.
my point was it cuts down on the tip baiting.
Oh,
Because now
100%.
because now when you show the full transparency, and this goes for Uber too, because DoorDash is harder to remove a tip, but Uber Eats and Uber Rideshare, you
Mhm.
can put it in after the fact, you can retract it, you can do anything you want. But it makes it tougher for them now too. At first, people were a little confused by it, but all you have to do is and I think it's starting to end. But if a tip is removed or changed, because it can't even be upped, it's very strange. So you see it all up front, like so you'll see base pay $1,
Yeah.
and then you'll see the total. You don't see tip, but you know how to do the difference. Take the base pay off the total, and that's the tip.
Yep.
So you'll see it up front, and you might see base pay $12, tip or total $12 to deliver food, and you're like, damn, I was gonna like do a great job because I thought this guy was tipping me 10 and Uber was paying me 2, but Uber's
Yep.
paying me 12 because the food's been sitting around, and this person didn't tip at all. Now you see it. But here's the thing about the tipping: if the tipping is in place and after the fact they want to remove it, they are treating it as it should be. They are treating it as a bid for service. So when you
Yeah.
accept whatever you accepted is what you will get paid. If Uber and Lyft and DoorDash and all these companies want to give refunds to the customers, that's totally their prerogative, but it comes out of their pocket.
Yeah.
They have to pay you what doesn't match or what matches your offer screen.
It's wild. Talking to a lot of these drivers is just that like they feel like they're pawns at the end of the day. And it's upsetting. Not only me, because I've done it for a long time, but then you realize like, hey, we can change this. Listen, in the United States, just in the United States alone, we're close to about 3 million drivers out there in all 50 states.
Mm-hmm.
If we got unionized and actually said, hey, these are the rules, these are the things that we want, they'll eventually happen, because at the end of the day, people are like, you know what, this is something that's, it went from being a need now to a want, because now people will have to have the service, because either they don't drive, they have a DUI and they can't drive, or they can't, they're handicapped and they can't drive. There's a lot of, rhyme and reason why the service is needed. But on the flip side, we are a service that we provide to the public. Listen, people got beat up, people got hurt, people got a Glock 9 to their forehead, and like, hey, listen, give me your phone, I want to empty your bank account. And you hear these stories all the time, but a lot of these platforms, that's not my problem. That is not my problem. We're only a technology company. This is what we do, and this is it. But
Yeah.
they're not providing something to the driver, saying, hey, we're gonna put some certain safeguards in place that make sense for us. No.
Now, I've talked to Sergio, I've talked to the rideshare professor, all the people I would talk to because when we discuss legislative things, I always get in with those guys first, kind of thing, see where they're at with it. Doesn't mean we always see eye to eye, but we've always had this thing about the Uber playbook, and this is their playbook. They're going to leave Colorado. They're not going to leave anybody. Just settle down. But I've read this a few times. I actually do see where they could leave.
Yeah.
This is a hell of a detriment to him. I think like Rudy's saying, it's great. I already think everybody, even not gig workers, should already have a dash cam. It shocks me how many people just don't, even just any day people driving. You should have,
We have.
I'm just saying everybody
I
needs
know.
one. I don't see them on as many cars as I should.
One, it's cost. Two, are they getting some sort of benefit from using it? Yes and no. If from the legal point of view, if I get pulled over and a cop says you did the X, Y, and Z, bro, I got it on a dash cam. What
Right.
you're
But
saying
even
is not
better,
true.
which is very common these days, much more so than it used to be, a hit and run.
Yeah.
You have the plate. I mean, so even a cheap one is my point. There's $40 ones on Amazon that are SD cards. I use a monitoring platform where I can pull the footage off the cloud in a minute's time or
Yep.
in a half a minute to my phone and all this crazy stuff. So mine's a little more, but I have to pay a monthly service fee. But it's worth it to me because it also does real analytics, which these apps have tried to do, and I match them up together and they don't work. Like DoorDashes are just a joke. But it's, so this other House bill now that's a standalone is, so you get why this is would really hurt them though. They have to provide, so they can't just say, oh, you have a dash cam, cool. They have to provide a cloud uploading dash cam. First of all, those get very expensive.
Yep.
I mean, the dash cam, I'm sure Uber could work out a deal where they're getting them all for $20 a piece. So it's not going to, that's still pricey, but then the cloud part and the data is so expensive because it has to have its own line. It has to have its own phone line to be able to send the data up.
Yep.
So Uber's going to we have 30,000 drivers in this state. Uber will have to put in, even if you are active on the app and you've done a ride in 3 months, they have to put one in your car.
Yeah.
So like, even if I did one ride 2 months ago and I haven't done a ride since, they have to put one in my car, but it also has to run 100% of the time. So I think it's great for the safety of the customers and me, the driver. However, I don't like that. I already have one of those going. So our safety is covered. If something happened, I know most people don't, that's the problem. But if something happened, I can even tell if we got rear-ended, customers hurt, I can say, no, I got it all on dash cam. I got their plate, everything, already sending it to my lawyer. Like, we're good. And they would know that. But now so I'm okay being videotaped. I'm okay with them being videotaped. I don't know how at all okay I feel with the fact that Uber is going to be the storage facility of that data.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean the camera. I mean, in the cloud, because they can be audited at the end of the year for any claims that were made. They can audit, like, we need this person's footage from this time to this time on this date. Uber has to have all of it.
Yeah.
So therefore, like, look how often Uber gets hacked. And I mean,
all
what
the
would
time.
people do with our dash cam footage? Who knows? I don't know. Create fake AI people of us that drain our accounts. I don't know. But I'm just saying, Uber gets hacked every day. I don't like them they're not a technology company. They're a dispatch company. They've always played technology company when it suits them, you know, and now it's like safety, that we've seen every safety thing not work. Say my name. No, get in the car. That's your name. It's 2 a.m. Say my name. Like, okay, well, I know you waited, and here's your name. You've been waiting an hour and 15 minutes. You want to wait another one?
Yeah.
All right, I'll get in. Like, it doesn't matter. I mean, like all these things, like, remember when they told the passenger if they got in the back seat to make sure the child lock wasn't on?
Yeah.
On the door? Dude, please. Like, I don't think I ever saw anybody do that.
Nope.
I've never done it even. And I occasionally use Uber. So, like, I've never done it. I've never checked. Oh my God, child safety. Oh, good. He won't kill me then.
Yeah.
Like,
it's nuts. It's really
nothing has worked. In the UK, they have these lanyards. You have to you have to go through the same training as a black cab, but you have to go through a 3-month crash course, and it works for all your gig apps, but for rideshare especially, you wear a lanyard, and when the person comes to the car, it detects an RF reader through the app on the driver, and it shows a picture of the driver, it shows their driver's number in the app, and this is Uber's app. So Uber in the UK knows we got to do it the right way. So don't even think that all these methods they've been like, well, say my name didn't work, check the child lock didn't work, this PIN number didn't work. Like, nothing's worked because they're not trying.